Hi there, Erin Lee here of heavenlymessenger.com, bringing you this week's the show formerly known as Tune In and Tune Up Thursdays. That's now on Tuesday night, and this is the last night that we're going to have this name. So, first of all, thank you so much for joining me. It's always a pleasure for me to be able to connect with you in this way, and I'm grateful for the time that you're taking out of your day, particularly during the holiday season. I know that this can be a time when things are really on the go and we're outside of our usual routine. So, I'm really grateful that you're here with me this evening. Really quickly, actually, I've got like four things to mention. First of all, we still have 20% off readings that are booked in the month of now January, because December I'm all booked for the rest of the month. And you can do that on my website, bookingwitherin.com/gratitude. .html. The link is in the comments section for that. And this also applies to gift certificates for readings purchased during the month of January as well. So the gift certificates don't expire. If you think, oh, I don't want a reading right now, but I think I'm going to want one in March or April, now can be a really great time to receive some savings and plan for the future. The next thing, we are coming up closer and closer to the More Than Existing Summit. I am so incredibly excited to be presenting. I'll be doing a 1-hour workshop on trusting your intuition and the joys of connecting with Archangel Haniel. This is such an incredible workshop. I'm really excited to be able to present it and share it. Archangel Haniel is the angel who works most closely with women. She works with the lunar cycle. So when we do like full moon releasing or new moon manifestations, we're working with Archangel Haniel. And she is also one of the angels who helps and supports us in recognizing and understanding and utilizing our intuition. So the two topics go really well together. I'm excited to present that. If you would like to find out more information, again, I have the link in the comments. But on top of that, I also have 2 free weekend passes to give away for the More Than Existing Summit. So this is a 2.5-day summit, Friday, January the 7th to Sunday, January the 9th. There are going to be 17 hour-long presentations. Mine is one of them. There's a 2-hour-long mediumship evening with Corey Thorne. And I feel like there was something else. I know that they've got some additional giveaways that they're doing with that as well. So if you are drawn to come and to connect, please head over to my website, bookingwitherin.com. And it's actually in the more drop down. I've literally just put it up as I was getting ready to come on the show this evening. So again, I believe I have the link no. Oh, yes, I do. I have the link in the comments here. So it's bookingwitherin.com/trust your intuition mte.html. This will be posted on my website at the end of the show this evening. And the very last thing that I'm going to talk about before we jump into all of the fun that we have on Tuesday evening shows is the draw for the name for our show. So I've whittled it down. And first of all, I have to tell you, you guys made it very difficult for me. We had about 30 different suggestions, more than 30 suggestions, because a couple of people suggested more than one in a single comment. So we had more than 30 suggestions for the name for the show. And I thank you all so much for your suggestions. They were all amazing. And it was a really difficult choice to whittle it down, but we have. So we've got 3 choices. And I'm just going to see if I can pull up the link, because darn it all, I don't know that I can remember all of the ones that we have. So the choices are Connection with Intention, Tapping in Tuesdays, and In Tune Tuesdays. So I have included the link to that post on my Facebook page. Again, it's in the comments. And what I'm going to do is everybody who either likes or hearts one of the comments, that's how it's working on the post, to vote for the one that you want. Everybody is going to be entered into a draw, and I'm going to be picking some more people for readings. So, just because I didn't choose your name to go up as one of the finalists doesn't mean that you've lost your opportunity to win a reading with me. And again, there's going to be a little something for each of the 3 people who have the names that we're choosing from. And I've got a little something extra, a 1-hour reading with me for the person whose name name is chosen. So again, if you want to participate, I would love your input. It's always a great joy for me to connect with you guys in this way. And I would love for you to have a say in what we're doing moving forward. All right. So before we get too far into the evening, I've really been enjoying the Choose a Crystal card reading. It's been so long since I've done them, and this new streaming thing is working out quite well. So really quickly, before I do that, if you're asking a question this evening, please ask a specific question. So for example, love life, or do you have a reading for me, or do you have a message for me? Those are all general questions, and I don't do those kinds of questions. But if you want to ask me a specific question, like what do I need to know about the relationship that I'm in right now? Or what do I need to know to find love in my life? Or I feel like I'm experiencing a lot of blocks in this area in my life. What can I do to move forward? Those would be really specific questions, and it gives me something to sink my teeth into. So please feel free to ask your questions, be specific. If you want me to use a particular card deck, please mention it with your question. So we have the yellow deck, which is the Archangel Oracle card deck. We have the green deck, which is the messages from your angels Oracle card deck. And we have the blue deck, which is the messages from your angels. No. These ones are the magical mermaids and dolphins. Oh, Erin. All right. So we're going to pop over here. Oh, well, oops. That wasn't quite the one that I was looking for. Hold on. That was, I think, the one from last week. Just give me a half a second, guys. Is it this one? Nope. Hold on. That will teach me not to properly name my my slides. Hold on. There's just one more option. And I think, isn't that silly? And it's the same one. All right. Well, we'll go with this one. We'll use the other one for next week. All right. So take a moment to think about the question that you have for this evening. We are coming up to the end of the year. So possibly the question you might want to ask is, what do I need to know to get ready for next year? Is there anything that I need to release? Maybe you have a certain situation that you're working on, or that you're wanting some advice and some guidance on. Think of the question that you want to ask, and you're more than welcome to ask more than one question, and just choose one of the crystals to represent the question that you're asking. So the crystals that we have this evening are amethyst, angelite, and rose quartz. Again, that's amethyst, angelite, and rose quartz. Awesome. So I hope that you have your cards. We're going to go to the big guys this evening. We're going to go to the Archangel Oracle card deck. And we're just going to ask, what do we need to know? What do we need to know tonight? Whoa. And we've got some jumpers. Hold on. So we'll choose our card for, this is for our amethyst. This is for our angelite. And this is for rose quartz. All right. And so just so you guys can see the card, I'm just going to turn this off, I think. Or, maybe we can, there we go. All right. So if you chose the amethyst, that was the first one on the left. It's the purple one. The first message or the card that we have for you is courage. This is Archangel Raguel, and Raguel has this beautiful, like, don't mess with me kind of vibe. I mean, as an angel, she is, of course, loving and really supportive and encouraging, but she also has this vibe of, you're not going to mess with me. And so when she comes up with the energy of not backing down, she's encouraging you to really stand your ground. Her message is, be courageous and stand up for your beliefs. So it feels like it's really important for you, if you've chosen this card, to get really in tune with your feelings in the situation, what's important to you and what isn't important to you, and find out where it is, where your line is, where are you drawing the line, what is important for you to stand your ground on in this situation. If you have decided to take a look at what's coming up for the next couple of days as we round out the end of 2021 and we start to focus into 2022, what do I want to either fight for or put energy into or pursue as we start to move forward in 2022? And is there anything that I need to resolve or remove or change in order to effectively do that. So Archangel Ariel is really helping us with standing ground and making choices and decisions. And I'm also hearing potentially choices and decisions that are uncomfortable, that we're uncomfortable with. So it feels like some of us may also be aware of what it is or where it is that we need to stand our ground, but for some reason we've been reluctant to do so. And Archangel Ariel is stepping in and she's saying, let me help you with the support that you need in order to make these choices and these changes that you know are in your best and highest good. So the next card that we had was the Angelite card, and the card that we have here is the Nurture card. This is Archangel Gabriel. I'll just go into her message first. As you nurture a child, you nurture your own inner child. Both activities are important for you right now. So the message that we have coming up here is to make sure that you're being gentle and supportive with yourself and making sure that you're honoring your needs as a person. Also, part of the message is to interact and engage in a playful manner. If you do have children in your life, this can be a really positive message to connect with them, to get on their level, to see the world through their eyes. And if you don't have children in your life or that are close by, this is encouragement to go back into a place of childlike wonder. So where is there joy in your life right now? Where can we be grateful for the things that you're working on and focusing on? How can you best nurture and nourish yourself? If you've asked about a situation in your life, how can you best nurture and support yourself in the situation? And is there a way that you're being called upon to help and support and nurture someone else? Again, remembering that it's really important to make sure that you're taking care of yourself first. Make sure you put your oxygen mask on before you put on anybody else's oxygen mask. Archangel Gabriel is the angel of communication. So this can be a really great time to, in a nurturing way, to reflect upon where you are and to journal that out, to write it out, or to express that to somebody else in your life who is important to you. And the last card that we had, this is for the people who chose rose quartz. We have Gentleness, and this is Archangel Sandalphon. So his message is, be very gentle with yourself at this time. Surround yourself with gentle people, situations, and environments. And so Archangel Sandalphon is the angel who carries our prayers up to God, source, universe, angels, whatever your belief system is. And so he helps to relay those messages and helps to reassure us in knowing that our prayers have been heard and that answers are on their way. One of the things that often comes up with this card is to remember that our prayers aren't always answered in the way that we ask them to be answered. So, for example, it can be really helpful not to micromanage how you want something to be answered. Instead of asking for, say, like a specific amount of money, maybe what you're doing is asking for a certain bill to be paid, because possibly maybe it can come about not in you receiving more money, but in part of the bill being paid off or a credit that's being applied or something else. So don't specify how you would like things to be, how you would like your prayers to be answered. Be open. And when Archangel Sandalphon comes up, he's encouraging you not to pressure yourself or push yourself, but to be gentle. So with yourself and anybody else who may be involved in the situation that you've asked about. Awesome. So let's pop on and see who we have with us this evening. We'll just go through and say hello to everyone. Let's see. Sue, hi, Sue. It's wonderful to see you. Thanks for joining us. And Lisa, hi. It's awesome to see you. Cassandra and Carrie and Jerry and Michelle, hello. Catherine, Margaret, it's wonderful to see you too. Thank you for joining me. Hi, JC. It's great to see you too. And Brenda as well. We have Elizabeth and Jen, Victoria. Hello, it's wonderful to see you. Let me see. Kimberly, hi, it's great to see you too. Lori and Cassandra, thank you all for joining me this evening. It's a pleasure to see you, and I'm grateful for the time you've taken out of your day today. All right, so let's take a look and see what we have coming up. So Sue is the first person who's asked a question. Sue is wondering if they will enjoy their vacation after delays. Okay, let's take a look and see what we're hearing. So what I'm getting is yes, but I'm also seeing that there are a couple of, it almost feels like hoops that are being jumped through. Not necessarily that you're jumping through them, but it feels like there's a bit of shift and change that might be happening before you come to coming into a place where you're able to enjoy your vacation and your holidays. So I am seeing that, yes, it is coming about. It doesn't feel like it's quite like, it feels like it's slightly shifted or slightly changed from what you were hoping for and or expecting. But I do see you still enjoying the time that you have. It feels like it's something that you've worked towards and or planned for quite a while. So I'm seeing the delay being particularly frustrating, but I do see it happening. I don't have a specific timeline because it feels like there's possibly another pushback with it. And it feels like it's slightly amended, but I'm feeling it being really positive and that you will enjoy it in the future. So don't give up hope around it. We're going to go to the mermaids and dolphins, and we're just going to ask, what messages are coming up for Sue around their vacation? Okay, so the card, interesting. The card that we have here is the self-forgiveness card. Let go of old guilt and remember that you're God's perfect child. And this is really interesting because I'm not seeing a lot specifically that would come up that would say, yes, this card makes a lot of sense for the situation that Sue is in right now. But when I ask about it, it feels like this actually has to do more with forgiveness, not so much for yourself, but potentially for the circumstances and the situation that you're finding yourself in. And it feels like, again, I've got a lot of frustration that's coming up because it feels like there was a lot that was invested in the vacation and or a lot of time and energy that went into planning and to putting things together. And the fact that it's being delayed feels frustrating, as well as the fact that it's not exactly what you were wanting. But I'm seeing 95% of it being there. So as much as possible, finding forgiveness for anybody involved with the situation, to breathe, that it's going to be that much easier when things do come about to really enjoy the vacation. So it's always a pleasure connecting with you. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way. Awesome. And we've got Lisa on. Lisa says she popped in just in time for the summit and my session. Woo, I can't wait. And you know what? Lisa is actually one of the other presenters at the More Than Existing Summit, and I can hardly wait to see what she has going on too. So again, if you would like a free pass for the weekend, please pop over to my website. I have the link in the comment section here. And Cassandra, it's always lovely to see you too. Thanks so much for joining me, and Carrie as well. It's wonderful to connect with you. Okay, so Carrie's asked, will I recommend with an old flame? And I think probably that was a mistype. I know my phone will autocorrect with that. So I'm going to read that as reconnect with an old flame. And I've got kind of different levels, because what I'm seeing is that there is a reconnection that's happening. It feels like there could be a bit of flirtation and a bit of chemistry, but I'm also seeing that the circumstances and the situation still is present, and that's why you aren't currently together right now. So just be aware of that, because I do see you guys getting together, but what I'm seeing is that the underlying circumstances and situation doesn't feel like it's changed. So if you guys had issues with, I'm hearing cheating, that's not necessarily what it is, but I'm going to use it as an example. If you guys had issues with cheating or with poor communication, or somebody wasn't willing to give up something for something else, like there wasn't compromise, know that all of those issues still feel like they are existing within the situation. But I do see the two of you reconnecting, and it feels like you're enjoying time together to whatever extent the two of you are both comfortable, given that things don't feel like they've changed. So I am seeing you really enjoying each other, enjoying reconnecting. I'm seeing enjoying reminiscing. It definitely feels like there's some chemistry here. So again, whatever you're comfortable with feels like that's an option with whatever you decide to go with. We're going to go to the big guys, because I feel like that's part of what we're needing for your situation here, Carrie. So we're just going to ask, what does Carrie need to know about reconnecting with an old flame? And I keep getting the va-va-voom feeling. So there's definitely a lot of chemistry here. So what does Carrie need to know? So, oops, we have two cards here. Um, the interesting card that we have is the Take Back Your Power card. And this is Archangel Raguel. His message is use your God-given power and intention to manifest blessings in your life. But part of what I really like about this card, I don't know how well you guys can see it with my lighting here. But part of what I see is that he's not like making or forcing things to happen. There is just an expectation that this is the way that it is, and this is just the way that it's going to be, and I am holding my ground. So it feels like that could be part of the reason, or part of the healing that happens in reconnecting with each other, is that there's opportunity to regain ground and or to establish boundaries that are healthy and supportive. The other card that we had popping out is the Indigo and Crystal Children card. This is Archangel Metatron, and specifically the message that Metatron has is you have a bond with children. In particular, you can help children who are sensitive. So it may be that there are children that are somehow involved in this connection, not necessarily children that the two of you share, but possibly that one or both of you have children that are having an influence on this situation. But it can also have to do with sensitivities that one or both of you experience, and that it's important to honor that as well. Archangel Metatron also helps us with energy clearing and energy healing. So definitely call on him and ask him for help and support, both before you guys connect and also during and after, because it feels like there is a lot of stuff that's going to come up, and it is a really wonderful opportunity to release things that maybe have been holding both of you back or that have been keeping you in patterns. So all of this feels like this can happen during that reconnection. So it feels like it's really powerful. Carrie, it's always a pleasure connecting with you. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way. Awesome. Lisa, looking forward to seeing you in the summit. Fabulous. Okay. Awesome. And Jerry's saying, finally, I have connected with you live, and I live just about 30 minutes north of you. Love your energy. Oh, Jerry, I'm so glad that you joined me live too. Thank you. And, if you're only 30 minutes north of me, you are also in about 2 feet of snow right now. It has been wild here on Vancouver Island, my friends. We've been feels like minus 15 to minus 20. And usually about this time this year of year, we're at about plus 6. So it's really unusual for us. Let me see. Oh, and Michelle's popped on and she said, hello. I wanted to tell you last week you were right. Oh, Michelle, that's awesome. I'm so excited and happy as well. Thank you so much for popping on this week, for joining us, and for letting me know. It's always great to have that feedback. Okay. So we've got Catherine here. Hi, Catherine. Thanks for joining us. Catherine's asking, what will the man of my life be like? So the first thing that I get is I get a pretty good sense of humor, because as soon as I tapped into that question and I asked, he kind of did this little cowboy kind of shuffle. And it feels to me like there's a lot of humor behind it. So I would say that this is going to be somebody who really enjoys laughter. It feels like he does take life seriously, but he also doesn't take life too seriously. So I've got a lot of feeling that's coming up with his energy and his personality. He shows me that he really enjoys being outside, and I suspect that he really enjoys being close to animals. And I wouldn't be surprised if he either is interested in agriculture or farming or animal husbandry of some sort. It also feels that likely he has a pet of his own, and it feels to me like this is a dog. Or a horse. I can't get that cowboy kind of image out of my head. So it's entirely possible that he really enjoys horses and or likes the kind of cowboy attire with jeans and a flannel shirt and maybe some form of a hat as well. He shows me that he's sensitive, but that this is still really new for him too. So a lot of it feels like I'm just not a jerk, right? The sensitivity for him, that feels like that's where it comes from. It's more of I treat people with honor and respect because that's how I want to be treated as well. So really that do unto others as you would have done to you feels like that's really important to him. And he also feels like he's passionate about something as well. So I'm hesitant to say that he has his life together because that phrase popped into my head and that doesn't feel like it's quite right. He's still figuring things out. But it feels like there's a lot that he has figured out that's put him on a track that he feels really comfortable with. And it also feels like that's something that he's really worked hard towards finding and or creating. And I do see him really enjoying being creative as well. So he feels like he's a very comfortable and capable and supportive person. We're going to go to the, woo, oh my goodness, I just threw those all over the place. We're going to go to messages from your Angels Oracle card deck, and we're just going to ask, what does Catherine need to know, about, how did you put it? The man of your life. So we had a jumper. This one just flipped out as I was shuffling. The card that we have here is Fiona, and her message is, now that you've asked the angels for help, be open to receiving divine guidance and assistance. You deserve heaven's help. So when this card comes up, it's kind of a step out of the way and allow things to come together. At the same time, there's also encouragement to make sure that you're still continuing to do the things that you're guided to do. So following your intuition. If your intuition is saying, oh, this situation isn't right for me, then pay attention to that and take action. If your intuition is saying, I think that I need to push myself a little bit more to engage with this person or to engage in this social setting, follow your intuition and take action on that as well. I was also hearing something else. Oh, yes, the waiter scenario. So part of what's really important is to get clear on who it is that you are looking for without being specific. So don't say to universe, I'm manifesting Joe Blow down the street as my partner because he's really hot and I think that that's going to work really well for me. Not that I'm saying that you would, but just please don't go in that direction. It's important to put the energy and the intention out there for what you're wanting with your partner in terms of like the qualities that they have, but also how you're wanting to interact with that person too. You know, what kind of relationship are you wanting to create and to support within your life? Is community interaction something that's important to you? And at the end of all of the affirmations or the kind of the wish list, I always add this or something better, because sometimes what we think we want is actually not what is best for us and isn't actually in alignment with what we want. So allow some openness, some flexibility, and be open to receiving in ways that are unexpected. And one of the best examples I have for that is a partner manifestation that I did many years ago. And I literally had 4 pages typewritten for all of the qualities that I wanted in my partner. And flash forward about 6 months later, and I ended up meeting somebody and we got together. And about 3 months after we'd been together, I found the list again and I'm going through the list. I'm like, yep, all of these things, this is exactly what I've asked for. And this is exactly what my partner is, except that he wasn't clean shaven and he didn't have broad shoulders. But everything else on the list was exactly what I had asked for. And truly at that time, that was exactly the partner that I needed. So be open to receiving in slightly different ways than what you are asking for. Catherine, it's always a pleasure connecting with you. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love, and romance angels your way. Margaret, it's always great to see you too. Thanks for popping on. And hello, JC. It's great to see you too. Let me see. So we've got Brenda here. Hi, Brenda. Thanks for joining me. Brenda's saying, hi, Erin. Can you please see what my mom's outcome is after the surgery she just had on December 21st? Did it take away the nerve pain? Will she be going home soon? Okay. So when I ask about surgery for your mom, I have something that's going, it feels like it's going up and down my back, but it's predominantly, I'm experiencing it on the right side of my body, down towards my, I guess, kind of my hip, like my waist into hip and into lower back, that kind of general area. So I'm not sure if this is where she was having surgery or if this was an area of concern, but that's popping up for me. And that's new. I haven't been experiencing that today. So that's part of the message. So it does feel like we've got a little bit of something. It's feeling a little bit pinched, but it's not it's not excessive. So when I ask about the outcome for your mom, there are two kind of components that we have coming up with that. The first is, what is the outcome? And the other is, will she be coming home soon? So the outcome, like, did it take the nerve pain away? I'm not sure if it's possible for the majority of the nerve pain to be removed or to have pain that is intermittent, because it feels like there's something that was done so that it kind of bypasses that nerve loop. Like, when I ask about the situation, it feels like the nerve was somehow over functioning or overacting. And it feels like the procedure or the surgery was intended to kind of stop that loop from happening. So I do have something that feels like it comes up intermittently. So for example, if the nerve was kind of like this in terms of pain, what I'm seeing after the surgery feels more like this. And then nothing, and then a little something, and then nothing. So I am feeling that there is still sensation, but it doesn't feel like it's this constant underlying pain. When I ask about coming home soon, it feels like there are some precautions that they're concerned about having her released too soon or too early. And I'm seeing something that feels like it's kind of into the beginning of January. So, I mean, we are the 28th of December right now. So that doesn't feel like that's a really unreasonable length of time, but it feels like we are extending into January. And part of what I'm seeing with that is that it feels like there's just some sort of precaution, that they're wanting to make sure that she is okay to go back into the circumstances and or situation that she's been in. So this is just feeling like it's extra cautious, as opposed to there's something wrong that they're needing to monitor. Let's see, we're going to go to the big guys for you, Brenda, and we're just going to ask, what does Brenda need to know about her mother's surgery? Oh, and I'm seeing Archangel Raphael popping up too. So the card that we have here is Archangel Haniel with sensitivity. Her message is, you are extra sensitive to energies and emotions right now. Honor yourself and your feelings. So this again feels like this is coming up for your mom rather than a message specifically for you, Brenda. When Archangel Haniel comes up, it is because we have a lot of sensitivities that we are experiencing. So maybe in the past, it wasn't a problem for you to listen to the volume of your radio, say, cranked way up. But now as things become more sensitive for you, you're like, you know what, I just want it at 25%. I don't want it cranked up, because when it's cranked up, I feel tired and I feel overwhelmed and it's just too much stimulation. So it feels like that might also be part of what your mom is experiencing right now, is that there is a sense of overstimulation, but I'm seeing it being short-lived. And it feels like a lot of it has to do with rebalancing. Brenda, it's always a pleasure connecting with you. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support to you, and lots of healing to your mom as well. All right. We've got JC here. Hi, JC. JC is asking, with all of this snow, can you please tell me how my son is? Let's take a look and see how he's doing. He's actually been on my mind recently, JC. So let's take a look. So he's showing me that he's finding and or has found a space that is warm. And it feels like it's kind of underneath something. It's not quite a cave, but it feels like it's kind of under like an overhang, and it feels like it's very sheltered. I'm also seeing him having gathered either blankets that have been kind of left that he's been able to gather and collect, or possibly some moss, because I'm seeing him having used the what's around him to create a very comfortable, very warm space. And I'm also seeing that he's got some form of matches as well. So something that will help him with starting a fire. So it does feel like he is warm. He's showing me that he's hungry, but it does feel like he is getting food, just maybe not as much as he would choose, which I'm actually seeing as being a positive, because it does feel like there have been times where he's chosen not to eat, and so it feels like it's really positive that he is choosing to eat and he is supporting himself on a physical level. If there is any opportunity to connect with him or to leave things for him, blankets and food feel like they're the most important thing, and matches. I'm seeing him having things that he's able to burn if it becomes necessary to create heat. But something to start fire feels like that's really helpful in the long run. But he does feel like he is healthy. He is eating, which is also feeling really positive. And he's showing me that he's made a space for himself that is comfortable and that it is fairly cozy and warm overall. We're going to go to the big guys for you, JC, and we're just going to ask what messages are coming up for JC around her son. What does she need to know? So the card that we have here is the Remember Who You Are card, and this is Archangel Michael. And his message is, you are a powerful, loving, and creative child of God. You are very loved. And so when this card comes up, to me, it feels like it's going back into remembering who you are, remembering what you have been given, and remembering that not only have you been given that, but your son has been given those tools and those resources as well. And it feels like part of what we're doing is we are supporting that energy as much as possible to remember who he is, because it feels like there has been time where he has been lost, where he has been disconnected from the power and the energy of who he is. And part of what I'm seeing is many people calling him, his energy, his soul, his spirit back into his physical body, because it feels like he has voluntarily allowed it to leave, that it was less painful for his soul to be outside of his physical body than in. And so it feels like a big part of what is happening right now is calling that energy of his soul back into his body. And I'm seeing him being surrounded and supported in that, not only by those who are living, but I'm also seeing by those who have passed over and who have crossed over. And I've got a couple of really big smiles from them as well. So it's like there's a whole crew, a whole pile of loved ones on the other side who are smiling, who are waving, and they're showing me, they're wanting you to know that he is in good hands, and that he is being supported and cared for where he is. Did we pull a card? Yes, we did pull a card for JC's. Sorry, JC, my mind got lost with connecting with the loved ones on the other side and with the ancestors. They're such lovely energies, and they are strong as well. And JC, it's always a pleasure connecting with you. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love, and lots of support to your son. Lots of grounding and warming energy to him as well. Awesome. We have Elizabeth here. Hi, Elizabeth. Thanks for joining me. Elizabeth's asking, what's in store for my financial situation? Where am I headed? That Elizabeth's feeling a bit lost. Okay, let's take a look and see what we have coming up. So I'm seeing you kind of planting yourself and really grounding yourself. It feels like part of feeling lost is that you're feeling a little adrift, and that you're needing to anchor and root yourself in a spot and in a place. So part of what I'm seeing is it feels like you're becoming very aware of all of the aspects of your financial circumstances and situation right now. Sometimes what can happen with money and finances is if things aren't going the way that we want them to, or if they're creating stress, we kind of close them away. We have a general idea that, there isn't nearly enough in the bank account, or there isn't as much as I want, or, I'm feeling like pinched and pressured and stressed. But beyond that, we don't look into actually what's happening. How much specifically is it that we're needing to increase each month? Or how much is it specifically that we're spending on all of these different things? So if I were to look at the next several days preparing to head into 2022, or whenever you want to start the energy of your new year, it's very arbitrary to start on January 1st. So whenever it feels right for you to start your new year, it feels like heading into that time, part of what you're doing is you're taking stock of everything that's happening in your finances. So go through your bank statements. Exactly how much money did you have coming in, and how much money did you have going out, and how much of that money is regular money that's going out. So for example, if you have a subscription or you have a bill that every month is basically the same amount, put that on a list and put like a general budget. Like for example, here we are in the middle of a cold snap. So I expect that hydro bills will be higher than perhaps they usually are because it's a little bit colder, a lot colder now than it usually is. So people are using additional heat and expenses to warm themselves. But give yourself kind of a general hydro, I think is going to be approximately X amount. And it feels like what you're doing is you're getting really, really clear on where you are, and you're not pushing it off to the side. And that's part of this grounding is I'm looking and I'm like, I know exactly where I am. I know exactly either how much I'm short or how much I'm below what I'm wanting. And I know how much I'm going to need to bring things into where they are, one, comfortable, and where I'm thriving. So that we have first, the part where I'm surviving and the part where I'm thriving. And it feels like as you break your finances down into those places, then you're able to say, okay, now I'm able to start working towards that, and or magnetizing that, allowing that to come into my life and to be supported in that. I do have a financial situation that feels like it's improving. So it feels like there's something that you've been intermittently investing your resources in. So resources to me can be anything from like material financial resources, but this can also be time or energy. This can be education. It can be thinking. It can be creativity. It can be talking about something. It feels like there is something that you have intermittently been investing energy into, and you've picked it up and then have had to put it down for one reason or another. And it feels to me like part of what you're doing is you're preparing to pick this up again, because it feels like you are approaching it in a different way this time, and I'm seeing a different result coming about as a result. The other aspect that I have is it feels like there might be a shift that's happening with either existing employment or existing money that's coming in. And it feels like there is some way in which you're able to get more from that than what you're currently getting. So, for example, let's say you're working at a job and you're working 36 hours a week, but instead of working 4 days at 9 hours, maybe you're working 6 days at 6 hours. And basically, in essence, it's taking up 2 additional days. So it feels like there's some sort of shift that's happening kind of along those lines that's allowing you to leverage more and compartmentalize, squeeze it, what you're putting out into a smaller box so that you have more from the overall box to generate revenue. I hope that that makes sense. And so I do see finances improving, but the reason that they're improving is because you are condensing one part of how you're generating revenue so that you have more in another part to give. It also feels that in condensing this, somehow you're getting more from it as well. And I'm not exactly sure how to describe that, but you're getting more by condensing it and kind of getting rid of the air pockets, so to speak. Let's take a look. We're going to go to the messages from your angels. Oh my gosh. So this card here popped out for me. It was the bottom card, but we're going to ask again, whoops, there's our card. What does Elizabeth need to know about finances and financial situations? So the card that popped out as I was shuffling is the Explore Your Options card. This card says it's time to look at other possibilities, and it's a good time to make changes. So again, like the foundation of making those changes is being really clear on exactly where you are. So account for each penny, each dime. Where is it going? How is it coming in? See those patterns and know exactly what your financial situation is. And from there, explore your options in terms of, okay, I've got these resources. So this is time, energy, passion, desire, drive. I have these resources to put into something. Where do I want to put them in? And the card that I was so excited about that was on the bottom of the cards and flashed at me as I was picking them up is the treasure chest card. An unforeseen windfall of new abundance comes to you now. So this is always a positive card, but especially when people are asking about money and finances, because it says that positive things are coming. So keep working towards it. But finances do feel like they're improving. But the first thing that you need to do, ground yourself, be really aware of what is happening with your financial situation. Elizabeth, it's always a pleasure connecting with you. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way. And we're going to send some abundance angels your way as well, because it feels like it's time for a bit of a cleanup there. Awesome. So we have Jen here. Hi, Jen. Thanks for joining me. Jen's saying, will I find the right tenants by January 15th to rent out my space fully furnished on a short-term basis? I'm seeing check, check, check. So it feels to me like, yes, you are. Let me see if I have the full question right. So I am seeing you finding the right tenants, and it does feel like January the 15th is a go. And you've said fully furnished and on a short-term basis. That to me feels like that's all part of the right tenants. So yes, that does feel like that is going to happen. I keep seeing 3. Is this like a 3-week or a 3-month time frame? I can't tell exactly what the 3 is signifying, but it does feel like there are, it is coming. It is coming together and it is going to happen. We are a little less than 3 weeks from January 15th, but you are on track for everything coming together. And it feels like you're just pulling this down. Like, when you have helium balloons and you let them go and they rest on the ceiling, but their strings are still there. That's kind of what I'm seeing you doing. Is it feels like there's an opportunity that's there, and all you have to do is like literally pull it down and tie it to the table. And that opportunity is there right in front of you. It's not just in the ethers. It's just, you just need to pull it down. So that says to me that there is something that you're taking action on. It feels to me like there are possibly a couple of leads that you have coming up. So make sure that you are letting people in your community know that you have space that is available for rental on short-term basis, and let them know basically what's happening, like tell them about the space and that it's furnished and let your biggest win, your biggest support is going to be the people in your community, because that's how this is all going to come together. So don't stress yourself looking, but just put it out to your community, and your community brings it right back to you. We're going to go again to the magical mermaids and dolphins, and we're just going to ask, what does Jen need to know about renting her space? I'm hearing rest. So don't stress out. So the card that we have here is the Alchemy card, and I really enjoy this card. You have the Midas touch right now, and every project you begin turns to gold. So the Midas touch, or alchemy rather, I guess, back in, I believe it was the Middle Ages, people were taking common metals and trying to find ways to turn them into gold, because of course gold was currency and was money, and it was a lot less expensive to get the common metals than it was to have the gold. And so that's what alchemy is the process of taking something that doesn't have as much value and turning it into something that does have value. And of course, King Midas would turn things into gold. And so that's where those references are coming from. So the circumstances and the situation that you're in, they feel like they are about to come together, that they are about to bring about really positive opportunities. It's just a matter of putting it out there to your community, because there is something that's just waiting for you to just invite it in. So it is happening. Jen, it's always a pleasure connecting with you. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way. And we'll call in, the other angel who's just popped in is Archangel Shamuel. Archangel Shamuel, spelled Chamuel, helps and supports us in finding the right fit, the right match, the right thing. So particularly, he helps us with finding work and career, and he also helps us in finding like romantic relationships and partnerships. But he's also come up to say that he's happy to help you in finding the right match in terms of who to have in your home. So Shamuel's helping too. Awesome. Let me see. So we've got Victoria here. Hi, Victoria. Thanks for joining me. Victoria's saying, hi, much love. I was wondering if moving forward with a connection I'm interested in developing with someone is a good idea or not. Okay, let's take a look and see what we have. So when I tap in, I have a little bit of heartache and heartbreak that's kind of coming up. So it's making me wonder if something has already happened in this connection that has caused you a bit of heartache or heartbreak. And it feels to me like there's need to proceed with caution. So not necessarily that this is a bad connection, but it feels like this is pretty real, and that it's important to pay attention to it, because it's a little bit of a red flag suggesting that you need to be aware of how much you're involving yourself and to not go in with rose-colored glasses either. So it feels like it's really important to see the person and the situation as they are. One of the things that often happens for people who are highly sensitive, empathic, clairsentient, is that we tend to see the best in people, and it's really easy for us to fall for the potential that a person has, as opposed to what the person is actually showing us. And it feels like that might be part of what is happening here. So just be aware and take the actions and the words at actions more than the words, to take that at face value. So if a person is showing you that, yes, they are invested and that they, do have your best interest in heart, they're showing you that as opposed to saying that, then it feels like it is an opportunity to connect with this person a little more deeply. But there's something that's kind of saying to me, don't jump in feet first just yet. Let's see. We're going to go to the, what do we have? The Archangel Oracle card deck. And we're just going to ask, what does Victoria need to know about this connection that she is interested in pursuing? Okay. Whoops. So the card that we have here is the chakra clearing card, and this is Archangel Metatron. So his message specifically is, call upon me to clear and open your chakras using sacred geometric shapes. So Archangel Metatron helps and supports us with energy healing, with clearing and cleaning our energy out. And so when this card comes up, it says to me that there is something that is either around you or this person that you're wanting to get to know that's need to be cleared out first. So make sure that, I'm experiencing some red flags coming up around you, but it could also be that part of where these red flags are coming from is from previous experience that you've had with somebody else, or for this person as well. You might be triggering some things for them too that they're needing to address as well. So just to make sure that you are taking this relationship as it is and not superimposing anything that you may have experienced in the past. The example that I like to use for this is, let's say you were in relationship and partnership with somebody who was cheating on you. And part of the way that that person cheated on you was they weren't coming home from work at the same time every night. So at the beginning of the relationship, they were at home at 6 o'clock every night, like clockwork. And then it ended up being like 7 and 7:30 and 8 and 8:30, and then not coming home at all. And you found out that over that time, your partner was cheating on you with somebody maybe that they worked with. Flash forward to this new relationship, you have somebody else who's coming in, and you find that, they're home at 6 o'clock every night, right after work, exactly like clockwork as they need to. And then it starts to get later and later and later. And you're like, I know this person's cheating on me. That's it. I know, because that's what happened with the last person. But actually what's happening is maybe this person has stopped for groceries, or they've taken on another job, or there's something else that's happening. So rather than jumping to the conclusion that they're cheating, find out what's happening. And that's one of the benefits of red flags in our relationships, whether they're new relationships or old relationships, is they tell us that something isn't sitting for us properly. We need to look at it more deeply. Awesome. Victoria, it was a pleasure connecting with you. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way, and lots of, I'm going to say romance angels, because it feels to me like this connection is something that's romantic. So romance angels your way as well. Awesome. Let me see. Okay, so Jerry, the question that you have here is a little bit tricky for me, because I don't do timelines like that. Jerry's asking, will I live beyond the next 25 years? Will I get my 25 years? So I'm not exactly sure how to ask that. And what I'm hearing is pretty darn close. So to me, that feels like it could be, like 6 months shy of 25. It feels like it could be a couple of years more, but it feels to me like it feels like you can basically bank on the next 25 years. It feels like there are some pretty big hills that you're going over in order to accomplish that. And I've got a lot of discomfort that's kind of coming up in through, this feels like this is the elimination. These are the elimination. organs. So I would call this like intestine and bowel. I'm wanting to encourage you to be really careful and aware of this area of your body. If you start to experience any inflammation or any significant changes in like your bowel movement or bloating or anything along those lines, I do want to encourage you to pop in and check things out with your doctor or trusted healthcare provider, because it does feel like we've got a little something that's going on here that does need to be addressed. So don't put your head in the sand with it. Say, hey, this is coming up because I need to address it and take action, because it does feel like we've got something a little bit funky going on here, but it also doesn't feel like we're at make or break either. It just feels like there are a couple of little warning signs that are coming up, and it's something that we can take care of. So yeah, that one's a really tricky question for me to answer, because I don't do a lot with like how long somebody is expected to live. But what I did hear, and it came through really clearly, is that you're pretty darn close. So I would say that you can certainly bank on the better part of the next 25 years or so, and to not focus so much on like an ending time or date, but to enjoy and to live the time that you have while you're here. But do definitely make sure that you're taking care of your body too, especially anything that's coming up from a digestive or elimination point of view, because it feels like there might be something that's kind of trying to get your attention there. We're going to go to the Archangel Oracle card deck, and we're just going to ask, what does Jerry need to know? What does she need to focus on right now? Let me see. So the card that we have, I love this for two reasons. The first is the message itself. It's breathe. Take several deep breaths and exhale slowly to awaken your energy and to release old patterns. So this message in particular, it's all about slowing down, finding your space, finding your groove, to breathe, to relax, and to extend your awareness of the moment that you're in, your awareness, and then your appreciation for the moment that you're in, for the time that you have. The other thing that I love about this is that this card is Archangel Raphael's card. And Archangel Raphael is the angel of healers and of healing. So he helps and supports us not only on our own physical health and healing journey, but also helping us to find the practitioners, the healthcare professionals who are able to help and support us and to bring quality of life as well as quantity in life as well. So it feels to me like you've got some pretty big support in helping to keep you here. And as I said, it feels to me like 25 is pretty close to being guaranteed, or as guaranteed as a person can get. And that you just need to focus on making sure that you're taking care of your physical body as much as you possibly can during that time. Jerry, it was such a pleasure connecting with you. And I'm really glad that you made it on live this evening. And I hope that you're safe and warm 30 minutes up the way. Sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way. And of course, asking Archangel Raphael to take care of you too. Thanks for joining me. Awesome. Okay. So we've got Michelle here. Hi, Michelle. Thanks for joining us. I know we connected last week too. Can you please tell me if this cold flu will be over quickly? I am feeling so under the weather and need this to be over. need to be over this. I hate being at home sick. Okay, let's take a look and see what we have. So the first thing actually is I'm feeling drawn to my chest. So I don't know if part of the cold flu that you're experiencing right now is something that is in your chest, but I am wanting to encourage you to pay attention to this area. One of the things that often comes up for people when chest comes up is to wear a scarf to make sure that you're keeping your neck warm, even when you're inside the house, because it feels like this is part of the entry point and entryway to your lungs. And I suppose in a way it is with breathing. So to keep your neck warm and your chest warm as a way to help support your lungs. When I ask about the things that you're doing, it feels to me like you're doing a good job with taking care of yourself, but slow it right down. So say, I'm going to take the next 2 days or the next 3 days to do very little. And the things that I'm going to focus on are eating really well. So really nourishing foods, and also drinking lots of water, getting lots of fluids in, like all the basic kind of healthcare stuff that we know that we need to do when we're sick. It does feel to me like this is one that lingers. This one lingers a little bit for some reason. So let me just ask if we can bypass any of this lingering, because I'm also hearing you with wanting to be out and doing your thing and living your life. again, I'm going back into making sure that you're keeping warm. So covering your chest, wearing some sort of scarf, and possibly like some sort of toque or beanie, like it feels, and socks. So making sure that your body is physically warm feels like that's a really big part of it. The next part is it does feel like you are able to be active to a certain extent, but I'm also seeing a lot of encouragement that's coming up to make sure that you're not overdoing it and not pushing it. So for example, don't be pushing it outside for a really long walk, because that's part of what you usually do. If you need to go out for a walk, one, make sure you're well bundled, and two, make sure that it's really short, just 5 or 6 minutes, and then come right back in, just enough to get the fresh air, to get your body moving, but then rest. It's not the time to be pushing and forcing yourself, and it feels like those things are going to be the things that you need to do in order to help bring your body back into balance. I'm really stuck on your lungs though. So if this is in your lungs, pop in and talk to your doctor as well, and make sure that you don't have something like a walking pneumonia or something kind of along those lines, because there's a lot that is popping up around your lungs, and it feels like that is going to be the hardest part to shake for you. But I do see you being able to shake it. So it doesn't feel like it's a forever thing, but it does feel like it's going to take you some time. Let's just see, what do we have coming up for Michelle around health and well-being? What does Michelle need to know? So we have the breathe card with Archangel Raphael again. So to me, that's really interesting. I mean, we just had this card for my name has just slipped my life. Jerry, we just had this card for Jerry. So the same messages that we had for Jerry also apply for you, but as well, Michelle, I mean, when we breathe, we go into our lungs. And to me, that feels like this is an additional confirmation to pay attention to your lungs, because that is important. But also Archangel Raphael is the angel who helps and supports us with our physical healing and our physical journey. So call on Archangel Raphael, ask him for help and support. And one of the ways that you can do that, so first of all, if you forget the name of the angel, that's fine. Just angels, please help me, or whoever is in my best and highest good to help angels, please ask that angel to help me. But what you can do is talk about the frustrations you have. So Archangel Raphael, this is what I'm feeling. I'm really frustrated because I hate being sick. I'm frustrated that my body isn't doing what I want it to do, and that it's not jumping back the way that I expect it to, the way that it usually does. Please help me, because I want to get back to living my life. It's frustrating that I'm at home on the couch, and these are all of the things that I'm feeling, and just let everything out. When I talk to my angels, or when I talk to the angels, I always talk to them as if they are my best friend, as if there is something that they can do about the circumstances and the situation that I'm in, and I let it all out. And sometimes I cry, and like when I say cry, I mean like I dirty cry. Like, it's gross. But it is so purifying as well, because I get into stuff that I didn't even realize was there, that was underlying what I was feeling and experiencing. And it feels to me that a purge at that level could also be really helpful and beneficial for you in the healing process and the journey that you're on right now as well. So call on Archangel Raphael, ask him for help and support, tell him exactly what's going on, all of the frustrations that you're experiencing, and expect that he is going to be able to do something about it, and then just let it go. Awesome. Michelle, it was such a pleasure connecting with you this evening. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm sending big hugs, lots of support, and Archangel Raphael your way to help and support you in physically becoming healthy again. Thanks for joining me. Awesome. Let me see. Where are we? So we've got Kimberly here. Hi, Kimberly. Thanks for joining me. Kimberly saying, hi, Erin. I really feel like I have no purpose. Can you please tell me what you see for me? See me doing moving forward, and will I be alone for much longer? Okay, so actually the part that's really sticking out for me is, actually, no, they're both sticking out. But the first part that's sticking out for me is the will I be alone for much longer? So what I'm seeing is, it feels to me like there's a bit of a mind shift that you're going through, and that the aloneness has less to do with actually being alone and on your own, but more that you are seeing alone as in not having a partner or not having a certain specific person in your life. But I am actually seeing that there are a lot of people around you. And the first part to bringing and inviting in more people is to recognize that you do have the connections that you have and the people in your life that you do have, and that it is what you are wanting to invite in is a partner to share your life with rather than being alone. Because when we say to universe, I feel really alone. Universe will send you a cat, or universe will send you a new friend, or universe will send you a neighbor who needs your help. It feels like what you're actually asking for is you're wanting a partner that you can share your life with. So I am really grateful for all of the people who are in my life right now, who show me that I'm needed, who show me that I'm loved. I'd really like a partner who I can share this life with as well. So from that perspective, it feels to me like we've got a couple of little blips. So it feels like that you might have somebody else who's coming into your life who ends up being somebody that you kind of, it's a fish that you throw back into the sea. And it feels like possibly we've got two of those, and they feel like they're coming up kind of over the next 4 months, give or take. And it feels like one of them, like I say too, feels like one of them you might bypass altogether, and you're like, nope, this is just a relationship. I'm not interested in exploring. This person's interested in me, but I'm not interested in them. So thanks, but no thanks. As we start to move a little bit later in the year, it does feel like we have things opening up, but it feels to me like we've got probably at least 4 to 6 months before any of that opening's happening. So you are going to be on your own, but surrounded by people for a little bit longer. And I actually see that as being a relief, because it feels like part of this time is time that you're spending getting into where you're really wanting to be. It feels like right now your energy is lower than it usually is, your vibration, because things aren't quite working as you're wanting them to. And it feels like that's really where you're investing your energy right now, is you're investing in, okay, what is it that I want to be doing? Where do I want to be putting my energy? I do have some sort of job that's coming up. It feels like it's part-time-ish. And I say that only because it feels like you aren't working a full like 8-hour day. But it feels like it's kind of compacted into 6 hours a day that you're doing like 4 or 5 days a week. That's giving you pretty close to full-time hours. This feels like it's something that you're doing kind of earlier in the day or much later in the day, so that you have a good portion of the day where you're able to work on other things. And that's where I'm seeing things moving forward. It feels to me like there's another kind of filling your time, covering your pay, covering your bills kind of job. But it feels like it's a step in the right direction. And I'm seeing you helping and supporting somebody. It feels like this is possibly work that's being done under the table. So all of the money that you make is coming directly to you. And I'm not seeing you declaring it on your taxes. My apologies right now for saying that. Feel free to remove the comment so IRS doesn't come down on you. I'm just teasing. But it also feels like this is a really positive relationship because of the person that you're working for and or that you're working with. So I'm seeing a lot of positive interaction and connection. This feels almost like an older woman to me, and somebody that you're learning from, somebody who's feeling pretty opinionated, but opinionated in a really like loving and supportive way. More like she sees something that's happening that isn't in somebody's best interest, and rather than tiptoeing around it, she's like, that guy's just no good for you. And she doesn't sugarcoat it. She gets right to the point. And it feels like that's really refreshing and supportive because it is coming from a place of love. It's not coming from a place of meanness or nastiness. She truly does care, but she doesn't have a lot of a filter. She doesn't have much filter. And it feels to me like this energy that you're around really helps to build you up. It lifts you up and it helps you to move into something else. This person does not feel like they are a friend. This feels like somebody, as I said, I'm seeing that you're working for this person. So do be really careful of taking on too much of her stuff, because boundaries are going to be important, because it feels like it's really easy for you to fall into a caregiving role. And that doesn't feel like it's supportive the long term. Let's see, we're going to go to the mermaids and dolphins, and we're just going to ask, what does Kimberly need to know about moving forward? And I'm hearing with new work and career that's what we're focusing on. And the card that we have here is the Break Free card. Try different ventures and experiences as a way to grow and learn. So the break free feels like that's coming up from two perspectives. One, it feels like it's coming up from the perspective of like your perception and how you're seeing things. So recognize that you aren't alone, but that you're wanting somebody with to fill a specific part and role in your life, as opposed to something that can just be filled by a cat coming in or by another friend coming in. You're wanting a partner. So really specify that. The other part of break free feels like it has to do with breaking out and breaking free from work and experiences that you're in right now. So it does feel like there's change that's happening with that. And that's part of the process that you're going through in order to come into the work that you're really wanting to do. But what I'm seeing feels like it might be some form of personal assistant, and that you're helping and supporting somebody in that way. But again, not to become overly invested in this person's world and life. Do not become this person's friend. Kimberly, it's always a pleasure connecting with you. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way, lots of romance angels and abundance angels and Archangel Haniel to help you find the right circumstances and situation for you too. We have come to the end of our show this evening. I am so incredibly grateful that you've joined me. I'm Erin Lee of heavenlymessenger.com. There are a couple of things that we talked about in the links up in the upper part of the conversation today. For example, 20% off readings for the month of January when booked through the specific link in this comment. So it's bookingwitherin.com/gratitude.html. Gift certificates can also be purchased there for the month of January for 20% off, and they don't have an expiry. So if you're not ready for a reading now, but you think you probably will be in June, now is a great time to grab a gift certificate. Also, the More Than Existing Summit, where I will be presenting Trust Your Intuition and connecting with Archangel Haniel. That is happening not this coming Sunday, but next Sunday, January the 9th, 2022. If you'd like tickets, I have the link for that up there. Or if you would like the opportunity to win a free pass, I have 2 free passes that I'm going to be giving away on Sunday, January the 2nd. You can do that by entering the link. I've got it again in the comments. It's bookingwithErin.com/trust-your-intuition-MTE.html. Again, the link is up above, and I'll be posting that shortly on my Facebook page. And I feel like there was one more. Oh, yeah. Name that show. So we have brought the names down to 3, and I would so appreciate your help in choosing the name for our Tuesday evening show. For about 5 years now, we have been Tune In and Tune Up Thursdays on Thursday evenings. When we moved to Tuesday nights, we need a new name for our show. So we've got 3 selected. I believe it is In Tune Tuesdays. We have Tapping Into Tuesdays and Connection with Intention. So if you would like to vote for the name that you would like for our Tuesday evening show, please hop over to my Facebook page. It's facebook.com/Heavenly Messenger. And one of the first posts on the page is the Name That Show. And I have the 3 listed, and each of the names listed in a comment, like or heart the name that you want for our Tuesday evening show. Again, Sunday, January the 2nd, I will be announcing the name for our show. So please get your votes in before Saturday evening. And we'll also be drawing for those 2 weekend passes for the More Than Existing Summit. I hope that you have a fabulous week. I probably won't be connecting with you through Facebook or through the online before the end of 2021. So may the rest of your 2021 be peaceful and full of love and support, and a time of releasing and preparing for the joys of 2022. Sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way.